Hey guys, welcome back to Goforth&Carnivore. I'm Jordan, as always. I'm sharing my real life and real results of my carnivore journey. And today I'm excited to bring Ian along here with us. We're giving a perspective today from a 3-year carnivore to someone who just passed 3 weeks on carnivore. And we're going to talk through his journey and so far and just from some different perspectives. And so I want to give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself and talk through why you started this carnivore journey.
Man, I just don't like any other food but beef. That's it.
That's a lie.
No, well, man, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for letting me know, letting me come. And no, carnivore, it's kind of a crazy ride, maybe a little bit similar to yours, but I hit a point, and it's for health reasons. I hit a point where about 6 or 7 years ago, because I was the weight I wanted to be and the size, but I started when we got, right about the time I got married. You talk about how, you get married, and I gained 20 or 30 pounds when I got married. Yeah. But I started gaining weight. Like I had kept my weight off for years. I didn't have a problem for about 5 or 6 years. I was where I wanted to be. And I started noticing weight creeping on. Yeah. And I couldn't, what I had traditionally done to lose weight again wasn't working. And so I found myself gaining 30 pounds when we got married, then getting up to 260 pounds, and then I would drop it. I did what was called the HCG diet. Yeah.
Which I did those drops back in the day.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I did it with and without drops, and it's not the same as carnivore, but there are some similarities just in the strictness of it, and it was, and those things helped. And genuinely, there is a sustainable way to do it, and and I did those things. And it would be, but what was crazy about it wasn't a crash diet, and it wasn't. I would lose it over 4 months, 4 or 5 months, and then I would gain it back in 2.
Right. It was always supplementing rather than truly
fixing
changing
what it was. And my body, it was almost like my body wanted to be further on, and I didn't eat like crazy. I mean, you always eat more than you think, but I didn't eat like crazy. And so you fast forward through that finally that was about 3 or 4 years of that, and then my wife and I. We get to the point where I lose it all one last time, and I decided to start running. And I'm somebody that believes that unless somebody is chasing you, or my wife, I haven't seen her in a week, I don't run.
Ain't that the truth?
It's 100% right. And so something's wrong if you're running.
Right.
But as I started doing that, I thought, man, I'll do Couch to 5K, and I can do that. So I start running, and I noticed that as I'm running, I cannot I can't stand up off the couch. After I sit down, my feet are so I had to crawl to bed, and I had a really good doctor at the time, a general practitioner, and he sent me to a rheumatologist. And what I had found out is, and I asked him, is weight gain part of it? And there's always the arguments from every other person, but the doctor himself just said, I think you have what's called ankylosing spondylitis. Long name.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
You should. How it was explained to me though, because apparently I have it and I don't understand it. But your body your joints don't flush lactic acid like they should, and it almost turns into gel. And so, but like any other,
so almost like a different form of gout instead of crystallizing.
It really is like that.
Gel. Interesting.
Or so he said it, and he may have just been really simplifying it because scientifically I'm a very simple mind, and so I just don't know.
Me too.
But the thing was, you do a lot of cardio. Well, you build up a lot of lactic acid, and then you will hurt later, and so it affects your back and your feet really bad. And so but any itis, is inflaming. Any kind of itis that you have. And so I would flame up. I've also been told this by gut doctors as well, but I was told I had SIBO. And SIBO sometimes gets that.
You were bringing up words I've never heard in my life before.
It's an acronym. So it's a lot easier than the other one. It's a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And so the idea is that, it's kind of a catch-all thing that you may or may not have it, but it mimics things. I mean, usually you're autoimmune, which is the ankylosing, the AS. Your autoimmune usually there's one that goes with it, and SIBO fits with a lot of these. But it bloats you, and you're always bloated, and you're always sick, to the point that I was getting inhalers because I thought I couldn't breathe. And it was because I was so bloated here, my lungs couldn't fill up fully. And it's been going.
That is crazy.
It's weird. And I don't, and doctor, every time I go, I have a general practitioner. I've gone to about 6 doctors in 6 years to figure it out, and done about every type, not diet in the sense of just weight loss, but literally every adjustment I could do. And in all of that time, I finally got to this point. I tried carnivore once. I know we'll kind of get to some of the pros and cons of this. But I tried carnivore before with some people that didn't necessarily need to do it. They wanted to do it for some health reasons, but they were really good at getting to the line of what they could and couldn't eat.
Yeah.
And that's not, I'm a really black and white person that I have to temper that in some places. But when it comes to this, so I tried carnivore.
Yeah.
And it lasted about 2 weeks.
It's important that you say tried.
Yeah, because we traveled and we did stuff, and it's always a slippery slope. You make 3 or 4. Some people can really stay on the wagon.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
And so that was last year about this time, and then you and I got connected, and
Yeah.
And so if somebody is I've noticed that I've got low testosterone,
Yeah.
which may or may not be connected to some of this stuff. I've got a lot of brain fog. Super sluggish, not a lot of energy. And I'll be honest, as a pastor, it's really hard because God's with you in the midst of what He does, and
Right.
He's working in you. But it's also, there's so much of God's made us as a whole person.
Yeah.
And I'm always in pain. I'm like a 60-year-old man, and I have a 4-year-old and just had a little boy 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be their granddad. I want to have fun with them. I want to run with them.
Exactly.
And so I'm kind of at that point where I was angry with my wife than I needed to be. We struggled a lot. I was always ready to snap because I was always in pain.
Yes.
It just wears you out.
Totally get that.
And so I can't remember now. We've known each other for about 2-3 months now?
It's 4.
4 months. So about, a month or 2 into it, you said, oh man, I do carnivore and I've done this and I lost all this weight. And it's the thing that always got me was that everybody is always a social media influencer, but they can't have a conversation with you.
Exactly.
And that was a big deal with me when we talked, and I thought, if I've got somebody I can just not monopolize your time, but just check in. Hey, what did you do here? How did this work? And it was probably one of the simplest, and it was a text conversation.
Yeah.
But that made me finally sit there and go, I think it's just time to do this black and white, do it the right way. And that's why I started, is I just wanted to be the dad that I wanted to be. And I was tired of, all things to all people for however they want to view themselves. But I don't like looking in the mirror and seeing fat me. I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I don't like who I like who I used to be. I didn't like that. And so it was just kind of finally, I thought, we're gonna throw all the chips in on this one because it's all I know to do.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
That's a long story, but it's kind of that process.
Yeah.
Maybe it felt like 7 years trying to get up to it, but it was a 7-year process.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest struggle for me, even 3 years in, is not seeing that 399.1 pound.
The point even, yeah.
Yes.
When you're overweight.
I took a picture because back in that day, and that was even before I started carnivore, I even lost some weight building up to my moment of day 0, I call it, for carnivore.
Yeah.
And it was 399.1, and I told myself I will never see that 400. Now, I may have gained a little weight, but I had never seen that number on a scale.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was just one of those things that was like, we are done here.
You're a lot taller than me, so you probably hold weight better, but for me, it was 300.
Yeah.
And I got to 307 at the heaviest, and I just went, I'm 5'9". I'm not a big guy.
Yeah.
And but that was same idea on that number. I just went, I crossed the barrier that I didn't think I'd ever cross, but I just went, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because if it gets out of control after this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
And like the number is important.
Yeah.
Because the number shows a little bit of your health. I mean, once it hits a threshold, it's all about your health. If you pass into that 300s, clearly it's a health issue.
Right.
But for me, what shoved me into my day 0 of carnivore was the fogginess, all of these different itises coming up, gouts flare up, and digestion issues, intestinal issues, and everything just stacking up against me and being like, I feel like I have no choice. It's either I give up or I change everything.
It's a crazy, I mean, you just don't, well, I don't know. There's probably a lot of explanations for it, but you get to that point where it's just, it feels like it's do or die at one point. So I get that.
Okay, so you've told us what led up to you starting the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So how did week 1 go? Because when we're recording this, we are a few days after Christmas. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And so you're insane. You started carnivore.
It's always at the worst time, too.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. I started the last carnivore at that point, too.
Oh, okay.
And it was not good.
Yeah. So we'll have to check in on him in a few weeks.
So how was week 1?
Right.
I think a lot of it is personality driven for a lot, maybe how people approach it. I can speak for mine. I've said slippery roads I don't do well on, like blurriness. I'm very black and white, but a lot of that, maybe it feels like it's self-discipline, but I think a lot of times it's just, if I know where to go, I can focus on that. So even on a spiritual side, I've done a lot of fasts, and I've done without stuff. I've done the 40-day food fast occasionally. You can't do a lot of those without hurting your intestines, so you got to be choosy. But I've done some of that stuff, and so I'll tell you, it's not even about going without something. It was more about, so I didn't have a really hard first week. I enjoyed it. One of the things, and I don't know if this is, a lot of my knowledge of it is anecdotal, and a lot of yours has been studied as you've done it. But I was really, the thing that I ran into the last time I did it, and it may have been that I was eating the wrong thing or I was doing something wrong, but I hit that keto flu phase really hard to the point that it felt like it was just really bad flu or a bad stomach bug.
And that was this time?
The first time.
The first time.
So I don't know what I was doing wrong, but this time around I had heard a lot over the last year because I watched a few different carnivore people on social media.
Yeah, there's some great...
Oh, there's some good stuff out there.
Yeah.
But I heard that it had a lot to do with picking good salt and making sure you had enough sodium in you.
Yeah.
And so that was just something I tried that first week to be really cognizant of. Like I probably oversalted. I feel like my mouth got a little bit raw for me. But it was really genuinely a good first week.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice for me because at the same time, I think there's a double-edged sword. You have to prepare everything you make.
Yeah.
But you also, you really know exactly what you can eat.
Exactly.
And that changes it. And there's not a lot of guesswork. But I'll tell you, I think that a lot of it has to do with that moment for me, that this wasn't like I just decided it was a good idea and I didn't really need to do it, but I thought I'd try it. I mean, it's a lot of that do and die thing. So you don't really, that first week is not as bad because it's been 7 years in the making of I just can't. I would rather eat the one thing for the rest of my life and feel good than just
100%.
Yeah. And so week one was kind of nice. I'll be honest. But what was crazy is my son came 2 weeks early, and I thought, I'm going to start this so that I don't have to go through all the craziness of my son being born. And I started it on Monday, and contractions started Monday at 4 p.m.
So he's a glutton for punishment, apparently.
I was eating Hormel Black Label bacon that was already cooked in the room with Hannah. I was like, that's all I've got to eat. And it was just
That's
it.
awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
It's funny because people kind of freak out when you say the word carnivore because they think this radical diet of the new fad thing.
Right.
But if you really break it down, it's just an elimination diet.
It really is, yeah.
And it's hard for people to move past it of you're only eating meat, so maybe some dairy and just meat products. Like, make that make sense. And it's like, but you never once complained when I was shoveling my face with nachos, going back to the Chinese buffet 3-4 times. You never once said anything.
It's such a crazy double standard.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I've got my family. Sometimes I feel like my family we've tried a lot of different things, so they're not as worried about it. But you're 100% right. It almost, maybe this is a bigger discussion, but the struggle is, I feel so much of the struggle is the medical system that we grow up in, and the view that we have of it is, it makes its money off of me being bad, not off of me being good.
Exactly.
And then you also, I think sometimes you've got the protein guys that jump on board. And like, I hear some people that I feel are really rational. Like, I mean, I like a Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson, they've talked through it. That stuff is good because I want to hear good reasoning behind it.
Exactly.
What turns me off to it is the gym bro guy that's just like, bro, that liver king.
Let's move on.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't think, why would you not? It really is a standard elimination diet for so much of you do. And I hate it. You're 100% right. And I don't know why it is that people don't see eating Twinkies and eating all that as a big deal.
Yeah.
But they'll look at something like that and go, that's just extreme. I can't believe you do it.
Exactly. And just making sure people understand, I wouldn't be on this if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm at the point where I genuinely love it.
Right.
But I want to enjoy a Chinese buffet.
Yeah, I do. I love Chinese. I love American Chinese food at least. But I do feel like the more people, I don't get a lot of pushback in our church, and I don't get a lot of pushback with our friends because I think that the sicker people are getting, the more willing they are to do what you got to do to be well. And I really feel like, I don't know, I'm not even a extreme guy. I used to think people were voodoo people that have the opinion I have now. But I do feel like we put more non-food food into our mouth than we ever have, and it doesn't feel like it was when we grew up.
Right.
When you grew up, you could just cut back on being a glutton a little bit and be fine. But now it feels like you put so much trash in your body.
Exactly.
And like wood fillers. And we're real careful now what we give our son, because it's just like, I don't, we just because I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, what is in this? If you have 35 ingredients in a cracker, I feel like there might be a problem.
Yeah.
So
I can pronounce the word meat and know what I'm eating.
do you remember the old Breyers commercials? That's what it reminds me of.
The ice cream?
Yeah, they would have little kids try and read, and I appreciate this about Breyers.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and a kid would read it, and he'd
like
get through all of it.
cream and vanilla bean. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
And having that community around you, because you have wife, and I mean, I know your son isn't at that age to give that support, but you have a family that is doing this together, whether they're eating that or not, they're supporting you, and that's huge, because I couldn't have made it without that.
You can't. I couldn't. My wife and I've had those conversations early on where, and it wasn't, and sometimes I was a little bit whinier than I needed to be, and I think that a lot of it had to do with, it does, where your mental state is and where you're at, but she really rallied behind it. The sicker that I felt and the worse that I was, she rallied behind realizing, and I'm not asking her to change everything and do it with me, but she really did a good job of helping prepare stuff or get stuff out for me out in the fridge so I could cook it and things like that. And
That's
so,
awesome.
if you don't have the support, it's really hard to get around it, I think.
I have my wife, every time she goes to Sam's or Costco now, she immediately FaceTimes me of, hey, they had this sell on meat, do you want it? And I just...
Girl, show me that.
Who would have thought that was romance? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, wherever gets your boat.
Wife goals right there.
Meat wife. Carnal wife. That's so good.
That's awesome. I mean, and she's even joined in on this, and it's crazy. And it's not even been by me pushing her. It's just been her seeing the results and seeing that there isn't a buy-in other than the food. And
even in a few weeks, my wife is like, here's what I think is the cool thing about this. My wife is for size. You look at me and I'm overweight and I need to lose the weight. My wife's 120 pounds, no matter if she eats Twinkies all day long, and she's 5'6". So she's a thin, longer woman. But for her, she wants to start shifting what she's eating, even if it's not carnivore, to more of a high protein diet. Yeah. Just because she sees how I feel and she knows she's not feeling well too. And we can track a lot of that stuff.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Not the, I mean, sure, we want that pound.
We want to look good, but feeling good is different than looking good.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, whether you're big, you're small, or you're somewhere in between, I mean, it really, there's a moment where I think that you've got to sit there and go, what's the quality of life I'm living? And what are some changes I could make to make it great? Because sometimes I think we just get stuck in feeling bad and think that's all we have.
100%.
That's how I felt for a long time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so we've talked about why you got here, or how you got here, how that first week was like. But tell me of a time that there was truly a struggle, not the previous keto flu, but like where was a struggle? Or have you not had a single struggle in these 3 weeks? I mean,
I don't know. I feel like it has a lot to do when you're really ready to do that. I don't know of a lot of struggle, but only because of how quickly results shifted. And not even, I mean, weight is great.
Yeah.
I think the biggest struggle for me has been making the correct amount of time to cook what you need. It's always, the biggest thing feels like it's always a convenience thing. Yeah. But the funny thing is, ever since the HCG side of it kind of built into me this rigidness and strictness when you do that, or even fasting and what you need and what you don't need. But I also think that it's probably unfair in some ways for me to say anything because I'm not a huge sweets guy. Yeah. But what I noticed was I like some stuff from here or there, but I've always been a savory guy, and I like to eat 3 helpings of dinner. I didn't like, extra dessert. But I do think there's the time side of it that can be a struggle, that if you're not going to plan ahead, But one of the things that I at least noted from the last time that I tried it and I figured out here is, I think that we get stuck as people. I feel like we stick ourselves in the worst possible solutions. Yeah. And so you're like, well, I guess I'm going to be like the hamburger guy and eat, 80 hamburgers a week, and that's all I get. And we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when you said, carnivore like a champ. But beef and bacon, they're really diverse meats.
They are.
And so,
They
like,
are.
if you don't like,
I mean, even ground beef alone.
yeah, it's totally, you can do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, do you do a hash? Do you do burger patties? I like liver. You've got steaks. You got roast.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, I do. I love it. I don't know why, but I'm a weird food guy.
Yeah.
But like, I can eat all of those things, and you can just rotate it without a lot of effort.
Right.
And then you've got whenever, you know, eggs or bacon. But one of the things I noticed too, the struggle for me though is wanting something like a Diet Coke. And that's where it gets where you want it. What I noticed that really helped me was not seltzer water, because it doesn't have any minerals in it, but
a
club soda.
Yeah.
This club soda does. And I drink, it all tastes the same.
Yeah.
So I do love, there's some really nice brands, but in general, Walmart club soda is $1 for a 30 deal.
Right.
So I drink about 120 ounces of soda water a day. And what I noticed, I don't know if it's a mental thing or if there's any science behind it, but that curbs any sweetness that I have.
Yeah.
And it's something about drinking that's almost like, oh, you got your Diet Coke. And I kind of hate water just by itself. And so it's been good, but that's been a big help.
Yeah, but just make sure you're looking at any sweeteners that are added to.
It's as basic as it gets. It's great value club soda, and there's nothing in it. I guess but CO2. I'm not sure what they do.
Yeah. I love carbonated water.
It's so good.
Yeah. And for me, it's just the burn. It's not even going back to a soda. I love that burn.
It's really good. And what I know, it's funny because I would drink. I got to the point, and I may be skipping ahead. I'm not sure. I'm just taking cues. I got to this point where anything that I would eat, I mean, in any amount, would make me feel stuffed and sick and like I just wanted to lay down and eat. And then I would drink, because I don't drink a lot of sugar. We were kind of, maybe it was helpful in making it easier this time because we were progressing towards, we've been doing whole foods for a long time anyway. And so that was just one last step to eliminating everything but those. But I started loving the feeling of being empty.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a weird thing to be empty but not be hungry.
Right.
It's pretty rare.
Right.
I'm going to throw this out as maybe this is a TMI, but it's a real thing. The one thing that is a struggle is bowel movements.
Okay. So is it too loose or too firm?
It's just
without getting too
bumpy. No, you're good. It's just straight. It's almost like straight liquid, so it's just loose.
So with that's where you start managing your fat intake, because your fat intake is your meter.
Yeah,
If it's
lipids
too
have it
loose-
do that, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Ken Berry probably be your resource on that, or Anthony Chafee. I mean, they're much more wise in that area.
Well, you know what's funny to me is they had this I remember they had a weight loss supplement when I heard about it. I didn't take it when I was in college, but I remember reading that it got canceled because it wouldn't let your lipids, it's the only medical term I know is lipids, but it wouldn't bind correctly, and so people would leak.
Seepage.
It was anal leakage was the deal. But there is that moment where that's a big adjustment, is figuring out. I didn't realize until we talked about this. I'm learning the fat intake side of it, but it's a shift between, do I have something solid today, or is it more diarrhea today? And that's maybe one to get. It's not hard for me as much because my stomach's always been out of whack. Yeah. But that can really kind of mess with you. If you don't. So.
And really, once you're still getting fat adapted. I want to say so. You still might have some adjustment to get to, but once you make it a little bit further along, your fat intake will literally be your gauge on if. Okay, I know I need to use the restroom, but I can't. Okay, I need to take in more fat, or I'm going to the restroom way more often, and that helps.
Do you just do it? Do you measure it, or do you just know to add a little bit and see how much it helps?
I don't measure a single thing on the carnivore, and that's my most favorite aspect.
That's huge for me too.
Eat. Yeah. I fast so I can feast.
That's great.
And that's my philosophy. And
it was a win to know that I could just eat till I was full.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge, and honestly.
And it's a true cue, not a phantom cue where it's like, okay, 5 minutes later I'm hungry. And I keep going back to the Chinese buffet. I don't know why.
Because it's so good.
But that's one of those is 5 minutes later you're hungry again.
It is. It's weird because I think I hit this point near the end of week 1 probably, But I genuinely, it's funny, we were talking about this, like I stopped biting my fingernails.
Yeah.
And I've always been told there's something, your body's craving something. And so you get anxious when you do it, but what do you do when you're anxious? You
Yeah.
go to whatever you're addicted to.
Yeah.
And so I showed my wife 2 weeks into it because she's never known me to not bite my fingernails. I'm a 37-year-old man. Like, you think I'd stop. And I showed her last week. I just went, hey, I just need to show you something. And I picked it. Because there is a fear here. And I think it's fair if you're starting something for the first time, and I still have that fear.
Yeah.
That this is just going to be another thing that didn't work out.
Another fad, yeah.
It's going to feel real good for a while, and then it's just going to, that's always, and decisions made out of fear are never good decisions.
True.
But there's a lot of potential disappointment, and so there's a cautious optimism with us that we see, but it has been a radical shift, but it's just funny from biting my fingernails to the idea that when I would eat, it was such a win, that I could genuinely be full, because I don't know if my body needed what it wasn't getting or it was, but I would want to consume constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm not a glutton by nature. I don't just love to, sometimes that's people's vice and they just love to eat. But it almost felt like my body constantly it was going, I'm not getting it, keep pouring into me, I'm not getting whatever I need.
Yeah.
But once I shifted in about a week, I started being able to go, I'm not overly full, and I'm not overly hungry. I think I could just go. And you really, and there are days when I want to eat more, but I usually eat once or twice a day now.
Yeah.
And it's real easy. Early, I try and do it in the morning, and then do it in the late afternoon or the night. And it's been really helpful.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Okay. So speaking of eating, you are on carnivore, but even within the carnivore world, there are still many variations.
Yeah, a lot of them.
There's the Michaela Peterson style of the lion diet, where it's strictly ruminant meat, salt, and water.
She's got that Peterson money, man. It can be expensive stuff to buy all those steaks.
Right.
But I do love that you can cook a steak in an air fryer.
Yeah.
I learned that from her.
But then there's also the traditional keto or carnivore, where it is just simply meat.
Yeah.
But then there's modified, where you do meat and some dairy, or there's ketovore. Like, what would you say that you live as far as your eating habits?
It would be, the way that you first described it to me when we were talking was BBB&E.
Yes.
So it is largely, the modified's where I get into trouble. So I try not to go that far. But I do mostly beef, bacon, butter,
So
and eggs.
Your current only dairy intake is butter.
It is, and I don't. And
That's good.
I'll be
That's
honest
really
though.
good.
Well, dairy is never kind to me. Like it makes me, and I know it just does this to a lot of people, but it makes me stopped up and mucusy and hazy.
Yeah.
And so I've stayed away from that. But I have shifted a few times to do chicken when it was advantageous, or deli meat turkey or something like that. So that's about as modified as I go.
You have a 4-week-old. Give yourself a little bit of grace.
The greatest thing ever was going through the drive-thru. I think I texted you and said, I might have cheated, but I went through the drive-thru and I said, how many grilled nuggets can I get? And they're like, you can get, the portions were stupid. It was like, you can get 4, 8, or 20, or 50. And I was like, 20. And it was, other than those times, it really does me, and I really crave just meat, and I love just meat.
But it kept you on track. Like,
it
sure,
did.
there were some ingredients, with it being a fast food restaurant.
Right.
There's going to be some things you should not have had.
Yep.
But you're still going strong. 3 weeks in, during the holidays, with a 4-week-old. I mean, you're still...
I have a really good family, though, so I'm really thankful for my family, because they are super outside of it. They're super supportive. And my dad loves to do meat. And one of the things we did is he and I I like sushi, but obviously you can't have the rice. It's not a good idea. So we salt brined.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah, salmon. And, I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm not a medical guy. But I also knew it wouldn't make me sick, just because I know me.
Yeah.
And so we salt brined salmon and just ate slices of salmon like sashimi, which was super good. But my dad is he's where I get kind of my love of smoking meat and doing meat. And so when it came to the holidays, when I came over, I did eat ham.
Yes.
I feel like ham it felt a little counterproductive.
Yeah, you have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
Because even when you get an uncured ham, there's still bits of sugar in it. And so it's just one of those things for me, it is my way of partaking in the holiday meal.
That makes sense.
That there is a cheat in there, but I'm not falling off the wagon. I'm still being with the family on the holiday, rather than here's Jordan with a pork chop, or Jordan with a steak, or I mean, it just
that makes sense.
I never I mean, I've even made a video about cooking a ham
Yep.
to stay on track, because it's about that consistency and staying on track.
It really was. And so my family so we did a ham for Christmas. I'll be honest, I'm usually a turkey guy. And for some reason,
I'm the opposite.
Most
Turkey
people
or
are.
ham and dressing is where I was at all my years. That's why I got to 400.
I love turkey, but it's crazy because something about this diet, I find that I shift a little bit in what I take, and it just doesn't sound appealing.
Yeah.
So we did a ham for Christmas, and I ate that, and it slowed me down maybe a little bit on the weight loss side. But it was nice to do ham there. And then when we went to my parents the day after Christmas, my dad, corned beef is not 100% great. But he did corned beef, he did a steak for me, and then they had that. And so
Corned beef for a holiday.
my dad does a lot of weird but fun things, and he's in a real big corned beef stage. He's in a
stage.
Yeah, he'll pick something else that he does, but he also loves to smoke prime rib.
Yeah.
And the big thing for him was just he knew. I said you don't have to change anything for me. I said I just can't, if it's not really salt, maybe a little bit of pepper, but if it's not salted, I just can't do a lot of seasonings.
Yeah.
And so he was just kind enough to make me something with just salt on it. And so
cool.
yeah, I had something to eat the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was easy. But
very cool.
it's nice that you have the black and white rules of what you can really eat, but then you do have a little bit of that fudging room where it's just like, if I need to get ham here and that, it goes a long way when you feel community and when you're doing that.
100%.
So
I mean,
nobody wants to be stuck in the corner like, oh gosh, everybody's
Yeah.
eating and I'm
Yeah.
here. I've been there before.
yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so you talked about the reasons why you have stepped into carnivore.
Yeah.
What are some things that have changed for the good? Like you had all these ailments
yeah.
and autoimmune issues. What are things that you've noticed just in 3 short weeks, almost 4 short weeks?
Yeah. One, I can fly. Just woke up the other day. Like
Congratulations.
Superman.
Wow.
No, this is what surprises me about it. And sometimes maybe it's because it was just getting so bad.
Yeah.
But I kind of, this is probably not even helpful, but if it is helpful, my wife loves to classify everything. She's somebody that loves to take every personality test because she loves, and so she's really vocal about some of those things. And when you feel really stressed and you're already on edge, it really wears me out.
Yeah.
And so she was kind of sensitive to it, and I really appreciated it. That she didn't say anything about it. She just observed, and I just observed. And then by the end of it, we were kind of like, "Did you observe this? I observed it." But she acted as kind of the confirmation for this. And so in 3 weeks, we noticed. So not only the stopping biting the fingernails, or little things like that. I don't moan when I get off the couch anymore. I mean,
Like you're 60.
My son's
Paw Paw.
my son's 4 years old. And you know what he does is when he gets there, he goes, "Ugh."
Yeah, and they mimic you. You're like,
I'm like,
okay, it's time for me to
"Gosh,
change.
I'm so old."
Yeah.
But it hurt, and I couldn't. But there's a couple of things that changed that were just huge. One, I wanted to get up and do things again. And it drains your marriage, it drains your time, it hurts your career and providing for your family.
Yes.
When you've got to do what it takes to survive, you can't ever move past to thrive in what you're doing. And so I started to notice that I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
I didn't hurt as much to do more.
You have to drive.
Yes, and there's a reality to, I'm still right at the moment, I'm 200 and I think 87 pounds at the moment, which is great. But you're still a 280-pound guy on a 5'9" frame. So I'm not, doing leaps and bounds. But I feel normal again, and I feel like I'm just sloshing weight around. I'm not trying to get over arthritis.
Yeah.
And so that was huge. So I lost probably, I feel like 80 to 90% of joint pain so far.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
My brain fog stopped.
Yeah, that's real nice.
I started being able to think. I didn't lose things. I noticed, though, that how it was so sad, and I apologized to my wife, but she understood it, but how hard on her I had been for so long.
Yeah.
And I told her,
mood swings.
yeah. I said, there's nothing I know to tell you other than if you have somebody constantly cranking on the pain dial on you, everything's on edge. Or everything's on edge.
Yeah.
Everything is frustrating. It was even funny because she said, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to bother you. And things that bothered me so much don't bother me in the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing to watch how not all, God designs us where all these things fit together, but it was amazing that when I figured out what would feed my body well, it was so much easier to be who I was called to be emotionally and spiritually.
Yeah.
And so we noticed the brain fog was gone. My wife gripes at me for months on end to go and clean the garage. And you know what? The garage looks awful. And I love it to be organized. I couldn't do anything for 6 months. I just had work to do, and there were things that were more important. In 3 weeks, I've cleaned 75% of my garage just doing it because I just could do it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. And so, yeah, you're right. The drive
So
is
if anything,
there.
she has a clean garage now.
She does. And putting things together. I mean, it's just funny that there's been such a reduction in snapping at her, at being frustrated, or even at work.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work with pastors and serving them, and pastors are frustrating people. I am one, right? We're hard to work with.
I am a frustrating person.
We are. But there was just this up and down that I would be so high when pastors would want to use our services because that was provide for my family. And then when somebody canceled it and do it, I would just drop to the depths. And I noticed that there is such a regulation now.
Yeah, that's exactly the word that was coming to
Yeah,
mind.
you regulate.
Yeah.
And it's easy. And so what I thought was just, I mean, I've been on antidepressants at different times. I've taken things like Klonopin to help for situational struggles.
Yeah.
And I've just started noticing, and there's going to be those times they're stressful or not, but it genuinely feels like I am. And my wife said it, she goes, I don't want you to feel bad because the worst thing ever is to live now in the shadow of who you were or who you could be. She said, but I just want you to know, I feel like I know the Ian I'm married. I'm with my Ian I'm married a lot more than I ever have been.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've got the tempering that God has given me in the midst of being such a jerk or so on edge or struggling so much. That tempering is there, but then you feel almost like a different person.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool thing.
And it's crazy that this control of food gives you back control of everything else internally.
It's
Not
crazy.
Everything, but it helps it. And
But I think most people struggle because they just don't know what the heck to do.
Right.
And that's how I felt. It's like I would just do it. I honestly, it sounds crazy, but I just wanted cancer at one point just to know that it was cancer.
yes, this for a
Just to
reason
know.
for it. Yes,
Yeah,
I get that.
If I could I was just like, I had 3 months ago, I had a CT done because I wanted stomach cancer, just so I could know that that's what was making me sick. So then we could actually work from that.
Yes, it's not the honey bun. It has to be cancer.
It has to be, yeah. And so, because I felt like I was doing everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I even thought I had done carnivore already, and then it wouldn't work. And then when you and I connected, and you just said, "Man, I lost." Was that 170?
Total and all, 170
yeah.
from carnivore specifically, 150. Yeah.
That you had lost 150 pounds even in a year. Like a year is a great thing, but because the thing is not, I do think that there should be some instant results for some of this because you've got to feel better. But the funny thing is when you feel better, then you don't look at a year as the end of life because it's not about pain management.
Right.
You fix that.
Right.
And so, man, now my wife and I are planning to work out together, to be healthier together, to do a lot of things that I don't think I could have really it was an aspiration.
Yeah.
It wasn't a reality.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really good shift. It's several really good shifts in a short amount of time.
So, along with the ailments clearing up and just a better physical and mental and emotional health, there is that part. I mean, what are the pounds you've lost? I mean, that is a huge part. That it's not the most important. I would say the health is the most important.
Yeah.
But let's not lie. We look at that.
The pounds have to do with the health,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Well, I guess that's not right. If you could possibly be 500 pounds but look good in a suit, I guess it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But like your pounds are an indicator, right, of who you're going to be. So I think I'm with you on that. I think you just got to get to where you're healthy. But in this first month of time around so far, I've lost 20 pounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and and what's crazy is you had told me this before, but it's really, my wife is blown away because a lot of it is up here.
Yeah.
I'm a short guy, or an average size guy, but I'm a really broad guy.
Yeah, I carry it in the shoulders.
I carry a lot of weight in shoulders, and then I get this gut that is. It is a dad bod, but my dad and I both. It pulls down. It pulls a lot of heart disease. Because it's always that pot gut always pulls on your heart and your rib cage, and so I want to get rid of this, and it's getting rid of it. The funny thing is, I almost swelled down, almost a whole shirt size, and most of it has been inflammation.
Yes, inflammation and water weight.
Yeah,
That's the crazy
true.
thing is
Yeah.
because with all those carbs, you're just retaining and retaining and retaining.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
It's the carbs?
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it is the inflammation, but a lot of inflammation caused by carrying that water weight. I mean, I dropped weight like that because I had I'm a tall guy. And so I lost.
I hate you guys. You're so tall.
Double digits and within weeks. It's crazy because of all the inflammation that went down. And so 20 pounds, that's a huge feat, dude.
It was so good.
That's awesome.
It's been so good. Thank you. I'm excited that I'm really looking forward to month 2, 3, and 4, especially when I'm going to do some moderate workouts with it. I don't need to be crazy. I was a country strong kid and guy who I liked
country strong.
Yeah, we always called it that because you got strong doing jobs that made a difference. And so there's a mental problem with me with going into a gym because I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Or I just don't know and I feel like
Give
an
me a bag
idiot.
of corn.
Do you remember Brian Regan, the comedian?
Yes.
I always, what he said, you walk into the gym and you're going, clank, clank. And some guys go, hey, will you get out of the painter scaffolding? Oh, sorry. That's me at the gym. And so, but doing some light, the Couch to 5K program is so classic, but run walking and then doing a lot of kettlebell movements and things like that. I'd like to do swings, and those are things I can do.
Yeah.
And then just being active.
Yeah. So that is a question I have is, are you doing currently at this point, is this all by changing your eating habits with the weight loss and health?
It's all by changing eating.
So you haven't incorporated any time at the gym, any runs, walks, anything?
No.
I mean, you have a 4-week-old, so clearly you've had zero time.
Zero time. But all of that.
That's awesome.
Everything so far just by eating.
Yeah.
Which, you always hear it, and this is one of those moments I think it's an illustrative moment for it to be true, that it really is 90% of what you eat and 10% of what you do. And so, but you kind of find, I don't know if you found this, I found this, that when I did this, I wanted to be active. I wanted to be active the better I felt. So it's almost like, because you really do. When you're just living to survive and you're in pain or you're struggling or you're foggy, it's not about, I want to go do things. It's what do I have to do to get to the next step? And I think when that starts to clear, you go, oh man, I want to go clean the garage. That bugs me. I think that'll be good. I want to go work on this. And so my wife was kind of both excited and really blown away that we wanted to start shifting and that I wanted to get in and do the things that I had yelled at her and argued with her about before. And she was like, "What's changed in you?" And I said, "If you could just not
I'm a little messed up.
If you could not be a rub it in your face kind of person," and she hasn't. She's been so gracious. Yeah. But it's been so good to her because it almost feels like it's an oppressive feeling. Yeah. And when you get out from under that, you start to say, it's just funny that the things, she texted me tonight about how she's wanting to shift some of her diet, not to do carnivore fully, but to do part of that, high protein. And she just said, I was talking back and forth about this is maybe good, not good for us. And she said, well, don't get mad. I'm not arguing with you about it. And I said, I'm the farthest thing from mad. And she went, well, normally you get mad. I said, I think we just need to shift normally.
Right.
You know?
And not that that's any excuse for us to act like that, but it's nice to know that isn't a part of your personality. It was created by just not living the way you should. And
the maybe the win of this too, because anybody can be in it. My wife, her personality changes during pregnancy, and so for 10 months
you were pregnant for however many.
I was pregnant with pain, but it's kind of one of those things where external forces, and we talked about this a lot, and I've told her I'm sorry, and I need you to forgive me for it, and it was my personal responsibility. But I do think it's an interesting thing, and she gets it too because she saw the pain. Yeah. She goes, I watched you not be able to get up. I watched you feel like I just wanted to lay down. Sometimes I'm just like, I just rather lay down and die. Like I'm just tired. Yeah. And worn out and sick. And so there was a lot of sympathy in her and a lot less bitterness because she was an active part of it for probably for 3.5 years, because I think for a while we just didn't know what was going on, and it got progressively worse. Yeah. But for those last 3.5 years, she was such an active part of going, I know this isn't who you are, but we don't really know why you're acting this way or why you feel this way, and why it's different, so let's do it. And when we found this, it was so helpful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I'm sure we'll check in later on. I mean, we've become good friends over this.
It's been really cool,
Yeah, it's been awesome. But I do want to ask you, if you were talking to me, I've never started carnivore, but we're jumping into the new year. It's a perfect opportunity for people to to throw in this, not on top of everything, but it simplifies things.
In lieu of things.
Yes, because life is insane. You can
Yeah.
really simplify things with carnivore. I don't want to take away from you, but what would you say to either Ian, another version of Ian, or someone that is wanting to kick off carnivore?
Man, I would. I think I think the encouragement would be, because it feels such a big question because people are at so many different places, right? Yeah. But I almost feel like I would tell them, lean into the simplicity and love it, and then just be willing to ride it out. You can do anything for 30 days. Yeah. And then I would just ask, if life isn't working, well, how will it work any worse to try this and just be dedicated to it? But I think that the strength of so much of this, and it's going to be different for your people that are gray people and they're not black and white people. Yes. But the simplicity in this and the beauty of this, I think that it's a lot about how we look at guardrails. Mm-hmm. When you drive, guardrails are designed so that you can go faster. Yeah. They're not designed to slow you down. Right. And so you can be safer. And that's really, I would tell you, try the BBB&E. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard. My wife, pregnancy shifted how she eats eggs. And so that's hard for her. Yeah. But do the best you can. And I almost look at those very strict requirements when you do it. They're like guardrails. Right. And if you can learn to love that and lean into it for a month or two, 2 months makes a habit. And just try it for then and see if it doesn't shift who you are. Yeah, that's good. Because I would consider myself a gray person. I'm like, maybe I can do that. But I'm such a jerk. I've had to really work on the gray and learn what was black and white. But carnivore will show you, because especially when you learn what black and white is, when you start getting into that gray area, you don't feel good. You start gaining weight, and you're like, okay, I need to go back. I need to go back to the simplicity instead of trying to add in these things to make it gray. And well, the very best thing about it too is I don't know if it has to be everybody's life. Yes. For the rest of their lives, but it is a little. We don't want to live this way. I don't choose. But the elimination side of it, what's beautiful about an elimination diet isn't what you cut. It's always the stuff that you add back in slowly. Yes, that's the win. And so even if you look at this, it's not. It doesn't have to be the next 60 years of your life. Most likely, what's going to be great is if you will just be disciplined and say, I'm not going to eat this for 2 to 3 months. I'm going to eat like this. I'm going to eat just these things. And then I'm going to add back in avocado. Mm-hmm. And is that if you add back in like tricks and you're eating cereal, you're like, it's going to be one of 85,000 things. Yes. Robert Kennedy is going to come get you and tell you. But just add back in single ingredient. And I think your body is always going to do. Even I felt better, even in how bad I was. I felt a little bit better and markedly better when I just ate largely single ingredient things. Yeah. Now, I will forewarn you. Yeah. With bringing in avocado, that is very sugary. Oh, I just made it up. Yeah. But it just sprung to mind because that's one of my things of we eat fajitas every single Friday, and there'd be times that I would eat little bites of avocado because it's like, this is a health food. I didn't realize it was sugary. Is that because it's fatty, or is it fatty and sugary? It's I guess it's a healthy fat, again, but I'm not going to pretend that I know everything here. I just know that there's quite a few carbs within avocado. Okay. And so that's why a lot of people use it to make ice creams and different stuff. Oh, that makes sense. They use it to make sweets, and so it makes sense why it makes such a good oil. Fatty vegetable. Yeah. But no. Yeah. That's good to know. Well, that was the thing that got me. I did some elimination work at one point and some stuff before all of this, and but adding back whatever you do really slowly, and then giving that, like, I'm just going to eat this extra thing for a month and see. But if anything, if you do it right and you don't do it for the rest of your life, that's a huge win. Yeah. Because you can identify, maybe target things that do hit you. Because there's so much garbage out there to eat, right? And so much marketing to make you think it's not. Right. And there's a lot of beauty in simplicity. Flip that food pyramid upside down. I don't even know the food pyramid. I know the Ron Swanson pyramid of greatness. meat. I love Ron Swanson. I don't. But I'll also tell you, it's just meat I love meat. I've always loved meat, and so I do think the other thing I would tell somebody is that this is something you help me with. But some of you are on tight budgets. Yeah. And like we spend $150 on groceries a week, and we're really careful and conscious about how we do that. But it really doesn't have to break the bank at all. And so you've got some really great stuff on your channel, I know, But we have really, and we've had some good people in our lives that gifted us half of a cow for passion appreciation.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
That's so awesome.
But meat is cheaper than you think if you
Right.
buy it the way that you need to.
Right.
So,
And at the end of the day, if the best thing or the most affordable thing you can buy is Bar S hot dogs, that's still less ingredients than any of the shelf-stable items.
I'm not going to lie. I'd pick those even if I wasn't doing it.
Oh, I
Probably.
cannot handle Bar S hot
No?
dogs. Give me a Nathan's or a Ballpark.
Well, sure, but I don't know. So many hot dogs. Hot dogs are just funny because they're all good, but they're all made out of things you don't want.
That's true. But hey, on Carnivore, you won all those bits.
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
All right, well, Ian, thanks for chatting with me today. I'm sure we'll be checking in more on the YouTube channel, but I'm sure we'll text back and forth as you grow and even I grow. I'm about to hit my 3-year anniversary.
That's a big deal.
Even now, I still have so much to learn, and the fact of just keeping things in my arsenal to go to rather than the excuses. Because right now we're at a 3-day youth event that I think it's midnight now, and
we did it though. We did it. So,
but it's making sure even in these weak moments, these tired moments, that we stay true to the carnivore and not about the pounds. We enjoy the pounds, but how we feel.
That's a huge deal.
The longevity of life, because
even feeling better changes the worry you have about how you look or how much you lose. Like it's a whole shift, man. So you're right. It's as much as I was teasing beforehand, the pounds are not as big of an issue as just feeling better.
For sure.
But
for sure. This has been a good talk. Thanks for chatting with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's such a fun thing. It's so cool that so many guys are doing this, but I love what's on your channel.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
It's worth checking out. If this is the only video you've seen, I'd go there. I'm subscribed.
I appreciate it, man. Oh man. Well, he put the plug in. If you wouldn't mind liking, sharing this, and sharing this with someone who needs that encouragement, whether they're starting tomorrow, they're 3 weeks in, or 3 years in, or 30 years in. I hope we're building a community here that can encourage one another. Subscribe to see more of what's going on. Next week, I'll be sharing more about different truths and lies that I've learned along the carnivore journey, and sharing that with you guys as we jump into the new year and kind of do that reset again. But until next time, guys, go forth and carnivore. Bye, guys. Bye.